guys, and welcome back to another book tasting. Today, I'm chilling in my daughter's cardboard castle. It comes complete with unicorns and her very own family crest. Pretty awesome. I thought this would be a cool place to hang out and do our tasting, especially for the book that I have today. So, welcome to March. It's been a pretty crazy March, and it's only been, a week now? And boy, oh boy, has it come in like a lion. The wind has been so noisy and crazy. It even sounds like a lion sometimes. Here's my cat right here. She's making an awful lot of noise. Can you hear her? But anyways, so the wind has been sounding like a lion, which is just roaring all over the place and through the trees. And do you guys know what else sounds like a lion? No, not my cat. Think bigger. Even bigger. A dinosaur! Those great big beasts that used to roam the earth millions of years ago. Yeah, they roared, and I bet they were 10 times louder than a lion's roar, especially the T-Rex. He was pretty big and fierce. But did you know that T-Rexes are relatives of chickens? Yeah, that's so totally right. A chicken. I went to the American Museum of Natural History in New York City last summer, and they had a T-Rex exhibit, and it showed the evolution of T-Rexes over the years. And they slowly began to shrink and get feathers. And now the chicken is its relative. It's really cool. I'll show you the slide right now. Well, in the book that we are tasting today, there are no chickens. Well, not the chickens that we know, but there are T-Rexes and Triceratopses and Brontosauruses and Stegosauruses and knights. Wait, did I just say knights? Knights and dinosaurs? That's right. Knights vs. Dinosaurs by Matt Phelan. It's a very crazy, absurd, and entertaining book that will keep you wondering when or what kind of dinosaur will show up next. So the Knights of the Round Table are a boastful bunch. They are full of stories and long tales of adventures that they've never gone on, and dragons that they've never slayed. And each one is more elaborate than the next, just so they can impress King Arthur and Queen Guinevere. But the one person that they're not impressing is Merlin, the court wizard. Now I'm going to go ahead and read to you a couple pages of these long tales that they tell, and a little bit about Merlin, who's not very impressed at all. I'm going to turn to page 4. And this is actually in the very beginning of the story. I think it's like part of chapter 1 and chapter 2. Okay. So, tales had been told, fruit had been juggled, songs had been sung. Oh, so many songs. But the worst of it was sharing time. Each knight who had stumbled back into Camelot over the past few days now stood before King Arthur with a report of his adventures. Sir Eric thought it might never end. Lancelot, naturally, had performed the bravest deeds. Galahad, the most noble. The rest scrambled for attention with various feats of daring do, most of which were exaggerated, to say the least. The knights all shared a deep secret. With the realm at peace, the knights spent a good deal of their time off in a field somewhere fighting one another. Not to slay, just for the sheer fun of it. They had armor and weapons, after all. It was a shame not to use them. Dragons, giants, trolls, and mythical beasts were in short supply. All knights believed in them, without a question, of course. But the pesky creatures couldn't exactly be counted on to make an appearance. Ever. So the knights embellished. One tale after another of battles with beasties, run-ins with rogue trolls, or fisticuffs with fierce giants. Eric sighed. He was tired. His tunic was slightly scratchy. Whatever the reason, when it was his turn to share, out it came in a loud, clear voice. A whopping big embellishment to shame the rest. "Did you say 40 dragons?" asked Merlin, with an air of polite interest. "Yes," declared Sir Eric. The round table exploded with excitement. Knights spouted support or disbelief, or a combination of both. All right, so we're going to skip over to Merlin when he starts talking about his disbelief and what he's about to do to these poor knights. But we're going to start off with Queen Guinevere. She's talking to Sir Eric. "That is a most amazing accomplishment, Sir Knight. Have you no trophy for your king?" asked Queen Guinevere. "Oh dear," thought Eric. He began. "You see, milady, it was quite dark in the cave, and—" "The cave?" Merlin interrupted. "Where is this cave?" "Far. Pretty far away, actually." "Oh," said Merlin, folding his napkin. "It is not the cave I am thinking of. Surely you would have not been so fortunate in that particular cave." It was subtle, but the famous Merlin bait hung in the air. Merlin nibbled a carrot, waiting. "Of what cave do you speak?" demanded Eric. He had no choice, really. This was all part of the act. If a dangerous adventure was dangled in front of you, a knight must respond. Merlin cleared his throat. "Oh, you don't know? For in this cave lives the most fearsome creature of all, the terrible lizard." Now, what the knights don't know is that this terrible lizard is actually the most fiercest, meat-eating, ginormous dinosaurs. Now, knights have never met a dinosaur, obviously, and they don't know about dinosaurs. They weren't that evolved then. They didn't have that kind of science back then. So this, they just thought was a terrible lizard, like a dragon. So Sir Eric, Sir Hector, Sir Bors, and the Black Knight, who doesn't speak nor take off their helmet ever. But anyways, so they all set out for this cave. And when they get there, they are pitted against dinosaur after dinosaur after dinosaur. It's jam-packed with dinosaur adventure. It's armor-crunching, weapon-whooshing, roaring action that engulfs each knight, and it doesn't let up until they go against the most fiercest opponents, the royal family. Now think about that for a second. The royal family in dinosaur land. I know what it is, but I'm not going to tell you guys, because y'all have to check this book out and read it. So, do you want to read a battle with the knights versus the dinosaurs? I know you guys do. So let's go ahead and we're going to turn to, I'm reading my notes, give me 10 seconds, page 21. This is the first battle that they have with a dinosaur. So this is when they just get out of the cave and they're like walking around, and they're like, this is not England anymore. Where are we? And this is what happens. Trickery and illusion, declared Sir Bors. Mel, my sword, you all wish you brought your squires into the cave now, eh? Mel reached in the canvas sack and fetched a fine sword. I shall explore the perimeter. Bors shut his visor. Fear me all who dwell. Bors did not have a chance to finish his bellow. A tremendous creature burst from the trees and snatched him up in its mighty jaws. Here's a great picture for you guys. And there's Bors. Do you see him there in the mighty jaws? The beast lifted Bors 20 feet off the ground and shook him like a puppy's chew toy. Fortunately, Bors' armor held. Sir Eric had seen some surprising things in his day. He'd been ambushed a time or two by barbarians hiding in trees. The Lady of the Lake had waved to him on one occasion, but nothing compared to what he now witnessed. This creature, calling it a lizard, was a bit of a stretch, although it was clearly reptilian. Had a ridge of spikes that ran along its neck and back. It stood on 2 legs with nasty-looking claws at the end of its long arms. Its jaws held rows of teeth unlike any Eric has ever seen. They crunched into Bors' armor, denting deeper and deeper with each angry chomp. Bors shouted from within the massive monster's jaws, kicking furiously. The Black Knight was the first to remember that they were trained knights and leaped into the fray. A broad sword to the lower leg made the creature toss Bors aside. Sir Eric swung his sword high and aimed for the tail, but the monster was fast for its size. The tail whipped around, and Eric attempted to duck, but unfortunately, a knight in armor is not the swiftest fighter. Sturdy, yes. Swift, no. One swat from the tail sent Eric into the air, and he landed on Bors. No swat from the tail sent Eric into the air. Whoops, I already read that part. Ha! Get off me, Sir Knight, barked Bors. My honor has been dented. Eric rolled over and took in the scene. Hector was off to the side, frantically paging through Merlin's book. Hector, what are you doing? Drop that book and engage, yelled Eric. The Black Knight had been cornered. The creature snapped its jaws. Ah! Here, beast! Bors hollered, scrambling to his feet. The monster spun, sprang into the air, and landed a few feet in front of Bors and Eric. Hector placed the book safely by a rock, drew his sword, and attacked from behind. Mind the fiery breath, he shouted. It doesn't need fire, countered Eric. The Black Knight jumped in and stabbed at the monster's leg. It roared and swung around wildly, its thick, scaly tail sweeping across the area and easily knocking all 4 brave knights over like so many bowling pins. They toppled through a thick brush and over a hidden precipice. One by one, they tumbled down into a ravine below with a great deal of cling, 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 cling. The terrible lizard roared from the top of the slope. It looked, it sniffed, it tried a toe over the edge of the ravine, but then it thought better of the idea. With one final thrash of its tail, it was gone. There go the knights, tumbling down. Pretty good, right? Not bad for a battle scene with a dinosaur and a knight. Well, actually, a couple knights. And there's plenty more of those kind of scenes in this book. The chapters are short, which makes this a quick read, but don't be worried because so much happens from that battle all the way to the end. You are definitely not going to be disappointed when you check this book out from the library. And what is even more super cool is that if you like graphic novels and comic books, there is one fight scene. It's a pretty epic battle that is told in graphic novel style, which means the pictures take over and there's really no text going on, and it's just boxes of pictures telling the epic battle of knight versus dinosaur. Pretty cool to incorporate that into a chapter book. So I hope that you guys enjoy this book as much as I did, because if you like knights and you like dinosaurs, this is a whole new world to check out. Well, that's all I have for today, and I will see you guys next week. Happy reading. Bye.